Okay.
It's very nice to meet you. All right. Do I need to check my weapon?
Huh? No. You have a weapon on you?
Cell phone.
Cell phone?
That's the best weapon you can have these days.
You're right about that, yeah. Was it like an iPhone, Android, or what?
I prefer the iPhones because they're more easily secured.
Easily secured.
Yeah, against you guys.
I guess that's...
Doing what I do. And I know you know who I am and what I do.
Yeah. I never heard of you, actually, till a couple weeks ago.
Well, it's awful funny that this all comes about.
I'm Detective Thatcher. We've talked on the phone before, about 2 years ago. Or maybe even shorter than that, where the guy was getting harassed. And
Oh, you guys gave out the phone number and Philip had...
Yeah.
And we corrected that.
Yeah.
That's not...
And I appreciate that.
That's not what we're about. Are you audio-video recording?
Yeah.
Good. I am all.
Okay. You want to
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm not trying to hide it.
No, that's okay.
I video record all my interactions with law enforcement. I'm not saying you guys are bad guys. I don't know you guys. But I will tell you that in light of the fact that
There are some bad cops out there. I understand that.
Well, in light of the fact that we just filed a lawsuit against Shell, it's awful funny this comes about.
Yeah.
So, what can I do for you?
I guess what is the deal with you and Shell?
Well,
Because I noticed like you have been, or you posted some videos about Shell and that too.
oh, so you do watch my stuff.
Huh? Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Okay.
It's pretty sharp, you know? It's like,
Okay, so here...
I don't want to really tell you the truth, actually. Like, fill me in, actually, because I do not know the rules, surprisingly, because I have not been on patrol in a very long time. What are the laws, like, with sidewalks and easements and all that other stuff?
It's really simple, and you should have... Are you a certified police officer in the state of Texas? If you are, you just had updated training in January of 2016 on public photography and open carry.
Okay. I remember the open carry part, but you got to understand legal update.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, legal update is extremely boring.
I understand. Okay, so...
Who does he work for?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
Because I don't want any... I don't want him to have any hassles or problems
no
because of what I do.
No, that's no problem.
But
But what is the law? Can you tell me, though?
anything I can see from public sidewalk, I can photograph.
So you can stand on the sidewalk?
If I'm standing on a public sidewalk, the Supreme Court has ruled that it's all good.
Okay.
If you stand in your window butt naked, God forbid, and I wanted to take a photograph of you, I can do it from the public sidewalk. Any place public. Okay? It's that simple. That's the short version.
Yeah, because we used to have somebody that worked here that always got on to the, I don't want to call them solicitors. I guess they are the car wash people.
Yeah, they're kind of solicitors.
We used to always tell them to get off the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's soliciting something different. We're talking about public photography.
Okay.
Yeah, soliciting's different. You may have city ordinances that regard to soliciting and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's also public safety because they would be either on the curbside or on the median in the middle of Center Street. How it's got the median. They would stand in the middle of that and hold up their flyers for the car wash, stuff like that. Yeah. And we try to explain to them, if there's an accident and the car jumps the curb, there's nothing to protect you. There's no place for you to back off of without stepping into traffic. So it's just, for us, that was a big safety thing. And I know, like, if you're up there at Shell, there's not a whole lot of public space before you step into the roadway.
Sure.
So I'm sure that's probably...
And I walk very close to the roadway on purpose. Yeah. So what's happened with me and Shell? All right, so I got arrested outside of Shell by the Harris County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
They stopped me because I was taking pictures of trash along the highway. Now, I had a previous interaction, and it's on my channel, with a couple of your personnel. Sergeant, black guy. How many black sergeants you got?
One.
Then you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
What's his name?
Tryon.
Tryon, that's him.
Okay.
And another guy, I don't know. They did fine.
Okay.
That was, as far as I was concerned, I was done with Shell as far as testing them at that point.
So do you go around and test the security for chemical plants or something?
It's not testing security. It's not about testing security. It's about testing whatever entity that I'm at. It's about testing them to ensure they respect my right to be on public property and take photographs.
Okay.
It's that simple. Shell, understandably, is sensitive to this issue, as are most chemical plants around here. Now, I will tell you, and if necessary, I'll provide you with the proper contact point. That anytime I find something that's inappropriate or a security risk out in the field, I have a contact at Homeland Security that I reach out to and give that information to them. If some nutbag contacts me and says I'm going to go blow up a building, I send that all on to Homeland Security. I don't, I'm not out here to get anybody hurt. That's not what I do. Okay. The whole purpose of what I do is to operate within the law. And of course, I was the day I got arrested. However,
Harris County or
it's Harris County that arrested me.
Okay.
Tim Hill was there, and I was out. I'd come back to take pictures of the trash along the roadway. This is the birthplace of Texas, and to me, it is disrespectful.
Well, if you go through Brenham, they're the birthplace of Texas.
Yeah.
If you go down south, they're the birthplace of Texas.
Yeah,
if you go to San Antonio, to Goliad,
but we have all the monuments here, or the vast majority of them.
Yeah.
And so I had gone back to get pictures of the trash along the roadway, and I had identified myself to Sergeant Tryon. I gave him a business card. Once I realized that he wasn't going to push me about my identity, there's at that point, most of the time when it comes to dealing with police officers, and you don't see it in my videos because I cut it out, is I'll go ahead and give him a business card. Okay. If you're not demanding ID, then I'm done.
Yeah.
If you're not telling me I can't be someplace that I can be, we're done. And they did none of that. I ID'd to Sergeant Tryon, told them that I was going to come back at a later date and get pictures of the trash along the highway. They said that they would put that in the report and put my description and name in there so that nobody bothered me when I came back. I was down on the Monument Road, whatever that road is. Battleground Road. Had an interaction with the Sheriff's Department there. They told me, the same thing. I'm out on the public road taking pictures of plants. Plants called on me. Sheriff's Department showed up. Hey, you're doing fine. Before I left the area, I thought I'd run by and get my pictures of the trash. That's when I ran afoul with the Sheriff's Department again. It's Harris County Sheriff's Department. They had nothing to arrest me for, so they had to invent a charge. Tim Hill was there, and he told them, and I have the audio on a video, and he knows I have it, of him directing the deputy to create a charge to arrest me for.
What exactly did he say?
Interfering. That's what they got me for. Interfering in public duties.
Oh, okay.
Said that I didn't raise my hands fast enough for a pat down.
Oh.
Beat it in court. But I didn't beat the ride, and that's the whole purpose. And it cost me about $10,000, all things considered.
To Harris County?
Oh, well, no, lawyer fees, bond.
Okay.
You guys don't see the other side of the coin when you arrest somebody out here. And this was just a Class B misdemeanor. It's expensive. It's expensive to fight it. It's expensive to make bond.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, too many police officers, all they want to do is make that arrest. And it's unfortunate. This is what's creating the rift between law enforcement and the citizens today. We've gone for so many years, we've had broken windows policing. And now we're realizing that all that has done is put a wedge between the community and the people. I'm not anti-cop. Not
right.
I don't know how much you know about me. I'm also an ex-cop. Worked in federal law enforcement. Also worked for the government.
When did you work for the government?
After I got in trouble. How about that?
Who did you work for?
I initially worked for the government. I worked for a government agency, that I cannot name because I have a confidentiality agreement with Homeland Security. And I was tasked to the U.S. Marshal Service, and I worked in South America, chasing fugitives in South America. After I got in trouble, I continued to work for the government through a contractor.
What'd you get in trouble for?
Sexual assault.
Okay.
1985, 86.
And they still hired you?
They continued to use me because I had a lot of contacts in the area that I was working for a variety of reasons. But anyway,
it's interesting.
It's more common than you realize. I did that for a while, and that's it. That's the short version on that.
So you were actually working for the U.S. Marshals?
Before I got in trouble, I was tasked to the U.S. Marshals.
Tasked, okay.
Do you understand the word tasked?
Yeah.
Lent to them. Lent to them because when I was in the military, I spent my time in Europe, and so I had a lot of contacts there. In South America, there were a lot of World War II fugitives, Nazis that had fled to South America. There were also a lot of Americans that were fleeing down there. So I had Argentina in particular, but not just Argentina. The whole area down there was in the 80s a haven for Americans to flee to as well. So having somebody down there with contacts was handy for them. So there's the short version on that. I don't know how much you're getting from DHS on the latest bulletin, but that's it.
What bulletin?
You should have a bulletin on me. Maybe they've stopped publishing it now. Last year they used to publish them about every 45 days.
Yeah, because anything we got on you is, it's been a while.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the last time was a year, 2 years ago or something. And one of your postings, you made a comment about something about drones. You were going to get your hands on a drone or something. So I think that was the last thing. As a heads up that, hey, just be aware of this guy. Maybe now have aerial photos or something. But
what can I get that you can't get off Google Earth?
Well, there's certain things if you see Google Earth, in certain restricted areas they'll fuzzy out. You can only zoom in so far.
It doesn't
for
it
definition
doesn't
purposes.
it doesn't
Plus,
serve,
it's also Google Earth is 6 months to a year behind in most of their images.
it doesn't serve any purpose for me.
Right.
Okay. Other than sometimes to piss Shell off.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to rain on my parade, I'm always happy to rain back. Now, I will tell you that it is my policy to not involve people's families in things. If you have a problem with me, you want to come after me, that's fine. I'm fair game. I'm public. I got no issue with that. I have had trouble before with people involving my family members, police officers specifically. And my go-to is very simple. If you bring my family into it, your family becomes fair game. I will publish everything about them. I will go to their place of residence and photograph them and publish it.
Like which family you're talking about?
Police officers' families.
Oh, like your family members. Who's messing with your family members?
Oh, this has been previously. Precinct 8, I had a constable over there that wanted to publish one of my daughter's home addresses and some information about her. Usually when I let them know that I'm going to, return the favor, that usually stops it. We'll bring it to a halt. But I can tell you that I am extremely upset with this stuff with Mr. Hill.
Why?
I have no idea why he's making an allegation against me with his daughters. So let's get to it.
Okay, well, Mr. Hill, this is the whole reason why you're here, okay? And you're here freely and all that jazz, right? You're here and all that good stuff, and you're not under arrest or anything like that? Okay. Well, you posted a video to YouTube talking about Mr. Hill's daughters, right? Like you said, there's like a beach in the background, and you're wearing like a blue shirt like that, and you say, I know where I can find Mr. Hill's wife.
Ah, okay.
Church.
I know the video you're talking about. Okay.
Is there a reason why you said all that about him? Did he do anything to make you mad?
No. It's strictly to make the point. Okay, Shell is so worried about security. Okay, I recently had. It has become a thing. I'm not just the only person that does this. There are people throughout the United States, and so when they travel through here now, because of the trouble I had with Shell, it is like a rite of passage. They go by Shell and take. So, and usually when they do that, I try to be around to make sure they don't get in trouble. And so the last time that there was a guy out there, the Shell security guard tried to ram me.
Okay.
I never left my vehicle, never got out of my vehicle. He tried to ram me. Okay, so they are escalating out there, which is why I have not been back out there. I'm not out here to get anybody hurt, and I'm certainly not out here to get myself hurt. Okay? So the video you're talking about was not directed specifically at Tim Hill. The idea was to point out the fact that they're so worried about security, yet they're giving me all the information. I can tell you how many deputies are on duty up there at any given time. I can tell you police officers. What agency, I can tell you how many security guards they have on staff, because sometimes when I've been out there to film, they come flooding out. I can tell you the names of the 2 assistant directors. I can tell you the name, Tim Hill's name. I can give you all kinds of information about him, because when I had trouble with him, I have people that do research. I don't ask them to do it, they just do it, and they send me all this information.
Okay.
This is how I know about. I didn't realize Tim Hill. I don't retain this information because I don't need it. Okay? I'm not going after anybody. If I want to go after somebody, I'm going after them in court.
Okay.
Not on the street. As long as they're not out there shooting at me, there's nothing to gain by going after somebody except getting my dumb ass thrown in jail.
Yeah.
I'm all about not getting thrown in jail for something I actually do wrong. Okay, so that was the purpose of that video, was just to point out that Shell, being all about security, is giving everybody all this information.
Okay. So yeah, you post that about his daughter. You say, I know who his daughter is, and then you say, I know how to find his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that kind of.
It was all over her Facebook, which I think she may have cleaned up now. I hope so.
Well, yeah, I would too.
I pointed out to him.
But then that, to any father, you're a father of daughters, right? Any father of daughters, that would scare somebody, correct? Wouldn't that scare? You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody posts something about a daughter.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I understand that. I understand that. If that is all the allegations there is, well, I just explained to you what the purpose was.
Yeah.
I am not violent, contrary to what you may believe or what you may hear or what you may read.
I've never heard of you until a couple weeks ago.
Oh, but you've got so what you've got. So what you've got is a criminal history report and all this paperwork and all this documentation and most of which is bullshit. Okay, but you don't know me. So when you look at that, I've been where you're at. Okay, I've been on the paper trail. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at this career criminal, sex offender, blah blah blah. Okay, put the paperwork away and start looking at me. Okay, I'm not, like I said, I'm not anti-police. I'm not about violence. I never encourage people to commit acts of violence. And matter of fact, if you go through all my videos, you'll find videos and commentary frequently where I specifically tell people, that I do not support acts of violence or ask for acts of violence against people that have necessarily harmed me.
Okay, so that brings alert to Hill, and that brings alert to our police department, right? So we start doing homework on you, and we find out that you're a sex offender.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we start doing a little bit more digging on you because they start to build like a file on you because they want to get to know you, right? Like you said.
Your intel division is building a file on me for the Fusion Center. I know how it works. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, not at the Fusion Center. I've heard of the Fusion Center. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they find a report made by Pasadena Police Department regarding
mm-hmm.
back in 1996. It's in regards to indecency with a child.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were living on.
Mm-hmm.
Were you familiar with that?
I am familiar with that. It was cleared by Pasadena PD after I took a polygraph.
You took a polygraph form?
I sure did. Someplace out on Spencer, what they were using at the time.
I don't see anything in the report about a polygraph.
Yeah, it happened. But go ahead.
Okay, well, so I'm assigned this case. I have no idea who you are, so I start reaching out. And what they tell me is they made the report to Pasadena, to a Detective Kelly Reed. Okay. He does a forensic interview with. She discloses in the forensic interview that you pull her pants down and touch her vagina.
Okay.
In this forensic interview. All right. Well, it happens when y'all are living on. Back in '96, it's referred to HPD for follow-up. There's nothing about an interview or a polygraph or anything in here.
Okay.
And I reached out to Detective Kelly Reed, who has since retired, and he says he doesn't remember anything about the case because it was just referred. Now, is there a different case out there at Pasadena?
No, that's it.
This is it?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Okay. So we reach out to HPD, and they don't have any. It's like the case fell off the face of the earth.
It was made through CPS, so CPS may have the file.
Says CPS was not involved, and it'd be easy to corroborate that information. But so I'm tasked with reaching out to. I'll refer to because that's the initial case. She's all that good stuff, mm-hmm. Right? So she reaches out. I talk to her, and she vividly remembers it. She remembers you doing it. She remembers you pulling her pants down. She remembers that it's itching and it's hurting. She tells me that in a statement. Okay? So, did you touch her down there?
No.
Did you do anything? Did you?
You want to schedule another polygraph? I'll take it.
Okay, yeah, we can do it. I don't have a polygrapher here, but we can take it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
We can get that set up.
Yeah. So, here's what happened. All right, and had split up. I had gone back to my ex-wife.
Who's your ex-wife? Okay.
I'd gone back to my ex-wife. All my kids are living at home. Okay, we bought that place out in kids all were living there with me. Came one night and spent the night. All right? She slept between her two older sisters in a bedroom with the locked door because their brother kept going in there. So they had to lock the door. Next morning, I took her home, dropped her off, and then this is what I got.
So did you ever take a polygraph? Because there's nothing in here about a polygraph.
I did take a polygraph.
Who made you? Who?
They didn't make me do anything. I volunteered for it. Just like I'm volunteering for it now.
Who had you take the polygraph, though?
Pasadena PD.
Pasadena PD.
It was Pasadena. Houston. Nobody else was ever involved. It was all Pasadena PD because it had occurred. They thought it occurred in Pasadena.
Okay.
Okay, but it was actually City of Houston.
Do you remember who did the polygraph? I know it's a while ago, but it's not something you do on a regular basis, so it may have stuck in your head.
You're talking 30 years. I don't remember. Goad?
Only 96. That was 20 years.
Was it 96 or? Okay. Goat and Associates? Goat and Associates? I don't remember.
Okay.
Honestly, it's. I've slept since then.
And Pasadena PD had you do it, or did
I volunteered. Pasadena PD scheduled it, and I went and took it. I didn't pay for anything. They paid for everything. I didn't pay for anything. So to answer your question, that's what occurred. And after that, because of that allegation, I made sure that I was never around without supervision.
Do you know why she would say that?
You know, I can give you conjecture all day long. Okay? She had a relative that lived with the mom that just vehemently hated me. And the original detective...
Who was the relative?
I don't remember her name. Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
You should go by because I've been calling. Okay.
Yes. It's her, I believe it is. Anyway, she vehemently hated me. And was aware of the sex offender stuff, so of course, that's what they're going to try to use to go after me. No, that's what I'm after you. Just because she hated me.
Just because of the flat out hate?
Yeah.
Else?
Now, the officer from Pasadena, after I took the polygraph test and I sat down and talked to him again, I'll take your word for it, he said to me that he could tell that had been coached. So, I hope he wrote that in the statement, but that is what he said, and he told me, he says, I'm not going to do anything else with this. And that was the end of it as far as I was concerned.
I don't see any documentation about that. Mm-hmm. But to be fair to you, David, Earl or David, because I've been calling you, I've been referring to Earl. To be fair to you, David, I definitely will follow up with that information.
Okay. And like I said, if you want to schedule a polygraph,
yeah, we will.
I don't have anything to hide. I don't run and hide, and I sure don't run. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It is awful odd to me that this is happening as we're bringing lawsuits against Shell. As far as I'm concerned, Shell owns Deer Park PD. Mm-hmm. So this is.
And he explained to you how we got to it.
I understand. I'm just telling you that from my point of view,
right.
You can see how that is suspect.
Understood.
Okay.
We got the complaint was filed with us in regards to Mr. Hill and what he deemed as harassment, basically, from what you posted. So, of course, we look into it, and like you said, we found out, you are a registered offender, so that does throw up a little flag, and due to the statements that were made. And after speaking to you, we understand what your mindset was, but you could see how it could be perceived.
I can see that if you're wanting to mess with me, how you could twist it and use it against me, and that's fine if that's his intent.
So,
but I will state categorically. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have no desire to harm anybody. I have no desire to do anything that is outside the law. I don't do that.
Okay.
Okay.
The only thing is with. Okay. The only thing is she says she remembers it and she still has flashbacks and she saw a therapist about it and she remembers it itching and hurting. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she remembers it and so yeah. But did you do anything like give her a bath or anything that?
No.
In the trailer, did you change a pull-up? Did they have pull-ups back then?
Nah, I think they did, but no.
Okay, did you change your pull-up?
I think she was old enough she didn't wear diapers then.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so you didn't change her?
No.
Why? Okay.
No, absolutely.
Well, she's saying she remembers it. She saw therapy for it, and this and that. So, you got any beef with any of your other daughters?
Yeah, I got it. My
What's her name?
uh,
What's your beef with her?
just we don't get along. I divorced the mom, and then some of my relationships with some of the kids are
Okay. All right, because I talked to says that some of her other daughters made disclosures of abuse against you as well.
They have.
Right. So, tell me about how you used to drill holes in the wall and look at her into the shower.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you used to fondle her breast.
No.
And when she was old, you found out she had a boyfriend.
She was old, and she had a boyfriend.
Okay. So you found out that she had a boyfriend, and then what was that? Tell me about that.
We don't have that incident.
Oh, there was a big blow up. We had a big blow up over it, and she went and stayed with her grandmother.
Okay.
That's it.
Because she told me that you went into her room and she asked if she was still a virgin. Pretty much says you're gonna have to
No.
give your virginity to me before your boyfriend.
No.
No,
No.
because when I talked to her about this, she started crying.
Uh,
It stuck with her. You know, it's stuck with them. It's stuck with her for a long time, and I've interviewed a lot of people, and you can tell the emotion come out, man. You know what I mean? You can tell the emotion comes out.
I have no explanation. Okay. There are a lot of things that I've done wrong in life,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, the good that I do doesn't make up for the wrong.
Okay.
But for what you're asking about, okay, no.
What about beef with any of your other daughters?
I mean, I don't get along well with most of my kids.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, I spent most of my life in and out of jail.
Okay.
Cheated on their mother. They're all very close to their mother. And I spent a lot of time cheating on their mom.
Okay.
And so there is.
What about
What a-
Do you have any beef with her, problems with her, or anything like that?
I don't speak to any of my children except for.
Okay, so whenever I go and I find and her husband and her children, and we sit down at her house and I start inquiring into you and all this and that, she starts to get pretty emotional, can't really make eye contact with me or anything like that. She tells me, I remember when he used to drill holes in the thin wall at our trailer so he could see the shower. It's weird and it's stuck with me.
Okay, logic. Let's apply a little logic here. Mm-hmm. So if you see somebody drilling holes in the wall to peep into a shower, what are you going to do if you're a kid? Are you not going to go tell your mother? Are you not going to go tell
the
tell person that?
Told me that they all disclosed it to her. That's how I found out, because the way it is, I contacted about this. Okay, and I said, okay, well, who was living with David at the trailer at the time over there on?
The girls.
Okay,
And,
the girls and like, well, he was living with his ex-wife, or I think they're still currently married, or something like that. So I contacted, and they don't miss a beat. Literally, 30 seconds into the phone call, oh, I won't put anything past him. He's sexually abused all of our daughters. They told me about it. So
Okay.
Your logic, let's apply your logic. They did tell their mom.
When did they tell her?
Huh?
Apparently they didn't tell her when it was going on, or
Are they scared?
I don't know. You're asking me for conjecture. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can't give it to you. All right, I am telling you, didn't happen. If you want to grab it and run with it, then do what you got to do.
Okay. I mean, don't you think that?
I mean, it's kind of odd.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking to them, at the same time. Just talking to them one at a time. Everything else, we're getting kind of consistent storyline.
Okay. If this is what they said, then that's what they said.
Is going to talk too. So she's about the says it's too rough on her. She doesn't want to ruin her life. Give at a time.
Talk to her. I mean,
what's she going to tell me?
I guess she's going to tell you the same thing everybody else told you.
Yeah.
They all seem to be telling the same story.
Yeah.
So what?
There you go.
What's the truth behind it then? I mean, why? I mean, when you have multiple people telling a storyline that's consistent, usually that means that there's going to be a certain degree of truth in it. So from your, and that's one of the things we're asking you for your side, and we could just go by what they're saying and be done with it. But
and then
we want to talk to you because we understand that you're a person who's proud of what he's done and what he's doing. And like you said, you're out there trying to make a difference and make things better with what you're doing. So knowing what we've learned about you, that's the type of person you are. So we're having these allegations that are coming up against you and being brought on by your own children. And they're kind of starting to be consistent. So there's a common thread. So knowing that, we want to talk to you and say, okay, there's got to be a degree of truth. There's something happened somewhere. And want to give you the opportunity to explain it to us. So that this way we could say, okay, we've talked to David, this is David's side. We talked to the girls, this is the girl's side. Because you know how the saying goes. There's 3 sides to every story. There's her side, his side, and the truth in the middle. So we want to get your side. We want to get an understanding. Where are they coming up with this? What happened? What was there? Maybe you did drill holes in the wall in the trailer, but maybe not to spy on taking showers. Maybe there was a legitimate reason you drilled holes in the wall. We don't know. But you know, you live there, you're the one who was there. So you could explain it. We can't. We're trying to figure it out and piece things together from, like you said, almost 20 years ago.
It's been my experience that when everybody tells the same story, because witnesses always tell a different version, when everybody's telling the same story, somebody's rehearsed the story. But I don't know. You're asking me about something I cannot answer. Wait. Let me answer.
Go ahead.
You're asking me about something I cannot answer for you.
Okay.
Okay? Now, regardless of that, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the girls? Or are we talking about pick a direction?
Aren't they both your children?
They are all my children.
There we go.
But I'm saying, what do you...
We're talking about your daughters. Well, let's go back to you tell me that she was dating a girl, correct? And she was what?
I believe.
You told me earlier.
I think I said but I believe... Come on, we'll go back and do the math.
Okay.
Did you
tomato,
Did you
right?
report that or do anything about that?
We talked to the police, Houston PD, about it, but it didn't go anywhere.
Okay. Did you? Okay, so you find that? Do you think that's wrong for him to do that? Dating a
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, then why did you do it?
I didn't do it. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, who's
It was almost.
She was. So yes, almost. Why'd you lie about her age to you?
Why did I what?
Why'd you lie about your age to her? She says that she was. Hold on, listen. Working at the. You come in there all the time and hit on her. And
No.
she tells me that you told her that you were in like mid-20s or something like that. And she
Late
finds out-
20s.
And y'all date, have sex for 3 to 4 months, okay? Right?
Go ahead.
You get arrested in LaPorte off Sylvan Beach, and then she finds out you're almost 40 or something like that.
No, I was mid-30s.
35.
Yeah.
You think that on a is wrong, right? Well, yeah, it's illegal. Years old, juvenile, old, but didn't you do the same thing? Technically, age discrepancy wise, lied about your age to her.
I did. And she was almost, and I didn't go in there and flirt with her all the time. I met her at, everybody worked there, and I used to talk to everybody. And one day I came by, she was outside crying. And that's how I got her number.
Why'd you lie about your age?
I don't remember.
But girl, you think it's wrong?
I believe was at the time, and that's my daughter.
Okay, so
That's the difference. My daughter.
You would have been fine with it?
I would have been fine with it, but what can you do? You know, that my kids do a lot of things in life that I don't agree with. Okay, but you can't stop them. It's their age.
Just saying, yeah, all these people are coming out like you're saying. They're all having the same story. You can either look at it one or two different ways. Yeah,
They don't all have the same story.
They conspire. Well, didn't you just tell me that?
No.
The
They're consistent. There's a lot of
consistent statements. All the consistent statements.
They're not consistent statements.
Then what? Let's go back to what you were telling me about then. Use your verbiage then that you just told me.
You're saying it's consistent statements. We got to make the distinction here. my kids with my ex-wife are saying is not the same as what said, and it has nothing to do or is even similar to my relationship with.
Okay.
These are completely different things. The allegations are completely different.
So says that you go in there and fondle her breast, says you have to give me your virginity, and drills holes in the wall, right? So I go and find a she corroborates that. She gets emotional, right? She says it's weird and it's stuck with me.
Okay.
Fondling of the breast, going into the room, touching her. She has to lock her door. Makes a disclosure. The one time she goes over to your trailer, it's already happened. She got touched. She got touched.
At the trailer.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I was never alone with her.
She was there for a weekend, right?
No, she was not. She was there for one night.
One night?
One night.
Okay, well.
One night and...
She remembers it. Listen, she remembers it. Okay? It's stuck with her. All right? She has flashbacks. She can't even sit in the She tells me, I got to get out. I can't listen to it. I saw therapy for it. And we're getting therapy records, too. So, we'll get her therapy records and see what she told the psychologist.
Okay.
All right? And I have to contact these people because I'm tasked with that. Right? It's not like they're like, you know what? I really hate David, Dad. Let's go make up some allegations and report this to the police. Then turn around and contact hey, this is Detective Reed. Hey, this is what's happening. Not 30 seconds into the interview. Oh, I wouldn't put anything past him. He did it to my daughters, too. I contact tells me you want to fondle her breast. Starts when she's old. You drill holes in the wall. You want to take her virginity at old. Right? Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, that's you know what I mean? To be fair, let's talk to the other daughters. So I go find a I got a hunt of now. Sits down, gets emotional, can barely look. And she's like, yep. I used to watch him drill holes in the wall so he could see shower. It's weird and it stuck with me. And then you want to give me some story about how what? Oh, well, 16-year-old, she was dating a year-old. That's messed up. And you do the same thing. With and then you want to tell me you took a polygraph. There's no polygraph in here. You want to come out and tell us the truth? Huh? So I can go back to your daughters that you abused? Let them know, you know what, he's sorry. He apologized. They're your daughters, bro. One's had to see therapy, they all hate you. How do you want to work it?
You have no idea what I did. When they found her down here with in a hotel room being molested.
Who's
How come you don't know that?
Well, who is
You know
he?
all this shit, but you don't know that.
No one's told me about it.
He's
David?
the guy that was convicted for molesting her.
No one's told me about it.
Imagine that.
So tell me about it.
Imagine that.
Tell me about it.
So you don't know everything, do you?
No.
No.
But now you can give me something to follow up on.
I'll tell you what you do know about that much of a story that's that deep.
Well, tell me about so I can get that high up.
All right, fill this in. I mean,
Moved in with after I moved out, ostensibly as a babysitter. He developed a. Now, keep in mind that this occurred after I got out of jail this last time.
Okay.
So it was 04, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I forget what happened with she had some other guy living there with her, just there as the babysitter.
Do you remember his name or anything like that?
No,
No, not
the
the
other
other,
guy.
the other guy.
He's married to him. You can ask her.
Okay.
Okay. And I had a relationship with at that point, a good relationship. We did things together with her other siblings along.
Mm-hmm.
Never had any issues. But as came in, she began to get more and more distant. And I had conversations with about this. And she just said, oh, well, she's a kid, you know, let her do whatever she's going to do. And it got to the point where I confronted and told him that I thought he was a child molester and that he was doing something with. He denied it. I asked, she denied it. At that point, I was cut off completely. No more contact.
Okay.
All right. Pasadena PD picked up, they had some kind of fire at the house, and I'm getting no information about at all from her mother. I was cut off from everything. Pasadena PD, they had a fire, and they were all staying at a hotel. Pasadena PD rolled through the hotel, running plate numbers, came up with somebody had a warrant. They went and knocked on the door. They found in bed together.
How old was
Late
And how old was when this happened?
2004, you said?
Yeah, 04, 05. He's convicted. He's on the sex offender list. Funny, nobody mentioned that to you.
No.
Wow.
So then this is part of why we're talking, because
No, what you're talking to me to is to try to get me to trip up because you're trying to build a case. I know what you're doing. I got it. Okay. The fact that you're going back so far is suspicious, but whatever. You're going to do what you're going to do. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, as of what we see now, if no one, nobody ever saw justice or they were abused, no matter how far we go back, don't you think people kind of deserve justice?
I mean, you know, with these things, they change the statute of limitations and everything for that reason.
I've done nothing wrong.
Okay. But it's just...
I've offered to take a polygraph. I don't know what else you want from me.
Okay, so you'll take a polygraph?
I will take a polygraph.
Okay. So, 2004, Pasadena police. He was a babysitter.
Yeah, after they dug into it, they found that he'd been a babysitter for some other people as well and had similar problems. So
Okay.
that's really funny that nobody's mentioned that to you.
Mm-mm. No. It is funny.
It is funny.
Any other information that you want to give us?
So what happened with the situation? You said you went and talked to HPD, and then they kind of didn't really do anything.
They had a unit come out
Mhm.
and
I mean, break it off with this guy, or was she
No.
seeing this guy?
no,
And-
she went and stayed with her mother, who only lived a few blocks away, and my older brother. And they ended up getting together at some point.
Mhm.
She was sneaking over there to see him. If I think about his name, I may come up with it, but at this point, it eludes me.
What's your relationship with your brother?
He's dead.
He passed away.
He passed away.
I'm trying to think of someone we could talk to who's around you and the girls during that time period that could kind of contradict what we're getting, if anything.
What about I heard you and his your relationship.
I have a decent
You always
relationship.
she sees you on like Father's Days and stuff like that.
Not on Father's Day. Her own. But I do see her and talk to her, yes.
Okay. Well, she doesn't want to talk to me for this, but I want to talk to her because I want to get her opinion and her take on everything too. You know what I mean? Do you think you want to let her know that we've talked to us, that you've talked to us, and have her call us?
What, you want me to tell her to talk to you?
Ask her.
Ask her. Don't tell her. Of course.
Don't tell her. Come on.
I mean, it's of her own
again,
free will, but I mean, if she is willing to talk to us, we would appreciate it. We definitely.
I will ask her. I will tell her it's okay if that's what she wants to do, but beyond that, she's a grown adult. She does what she does.
All right. Well, we'll work on getting that polygraph lined up for you, okay?
Okay.
How many sons you have? Just one? 2, 3? All right. How did you meet?
Man, that's a long time ago. I think her sister introduced us, if I'm not mistaken.
Her sister?
Yeah.
Where'd y'all meet at?
Through her sister.
Through her
Met
sister?
Met at a party.
Oh, at a party. Okay.
Again, that's a
A
long,
long time ago. You know where I was in '96? 4th grade.
My dad always told me, you don't look that young. Neither of you really look that young.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, no,
David.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know.
I was a senior in high school.
But I can tell you that my dad used to tell me that when the cops start, you know you're young, you know you're old when the cops start looking like kids, and more, I am seeing these damn little. They look like freaking high school kids out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You want to give us any information to follow up on your behalf?
Anybody we should talk to that you think would shine some light on this? What's going on? Anything?
You know, at the time this occurred, we tried to isolate the kids as much as possible, simply because they just didn't need to be caught up in grown adults bickering and fighting. And so maybe now in retrospect, that was a mistake. I don't believe the police ever interviewed the kids. They were content to, like I said, to interview me and take my do the polygraph. And again, the detective, I'm hoping he wrote it in that file, said that.
Yeah, we'll follow up and look into it.
I'm just saying
because if you did one, there should be a report of it somewhere. So we may have to have.
He specifically said he could tell had been coached. And this all went through CPS because we had CPS at our place beating on our door, going through, talking to the kids. And, you know.
And that's another, we'll have CPS dig into the archives and pull their stuff up too. So we see what they have and what they found and what they wrote up. Because it was investigated by them. Do you remember what their ruling was on it at all?
They went with Pasadena PD. They're the ones that brought Pasadena PD in.
Okay.
So it was
Do you think they ruled
just
it
unfounded.
unfounded,
yeah. Nothing ever came of it. Like I said, after the polygraph, the detective was happy and settled. That was the end of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure, 20 years ago things were a little different too. And nowadays, just a polygraph alone usually isn't enough anymore. They want us to make sure we do all our due diligence to find out, because polygraphs aren't admissible in court. You can't use them. So they want to make sure, it's a good thing. We do them. They help a lot.
Well, you know what I know. You can't beat the machine.
Oh, you can beat the machine.
I've never seen anybody that can beat the machine. But okay.
Yeah, there's because it monitors your body sign, the signals.
I know.
So there are people who are really good at meditation, stuff like that. They can control their heartbeat. They can control their breathing. I mean, there's some of the more newer ones, which a lot of, I don't know if we can find one that has it or not, but I know like DPS, when they do their new recruit training and stuff, they have one that's got a little pad you sit on and to tell if you're puckering or not. That's another part of the things that you can't control. But there's a science to beating them. It is a possibility. That's one of the reasons why it's not allowed in court. Why they don't use it, because it can. They have proven it can be beaten.
Well, like I said, I have no objection to taking one. I personally, I don't believe I can beat one, but if you say so, I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay.
So if I took it before, I'll take it again.
We'll reach out because we don't have one on staff. We have to either bring one in or we use one from one of the surrounding agencies that have one on staff.
Well, they sent me to a private one. The one that they had me take was some guy on Spencer Highway. He didn't do it at the police department. He did it at his office on Spencer.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know Pasadena now, they have their own guys that they...
most police departments, I think, do it. I think then...
I know we don't because it's expensive.
I think back then he would sometimes come to the PD and do it, and sometimes go to his office and do it. I don't know.
Okay.
Because they weren't sure. I remember when they initially talked about it, they weren't sure about where it would be at, whether it would be there or his office, and ended up being
I looked into it once out of curiosity. It's like a 9-month training course, and then you have to do so many per year to maintain your license, and so it's very expensive. Not only just the equipment, but the training and everything. So there's a lot to it. So that's why I think I know Pasadena's got two or three. I think LaPorte has one, and we don't have one. We had one years ago, and they never. After he was done, they decided we're not.
Well, you should call LaPorte and ask them if their guy could do one. I'll run over there right now.
We'll have to schedule it with them and find out. But we'll get it set up.
I trust LaPorte PD. I don't trust this PD.
Okay.
But I trust LaPorte PD.
Okay, we'll try to get LaPorte to do it for you then.
That's fine. I got no objection to it. What else can I do for you?
No, sir. Thanks for coming in and talking.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All right. If you decide you want to arrest me for something, give me a call. I'll come in and surrender.
Okay.
You don't have to come beating on the door. People get hurt that way.
Yes.
Okay. I told you, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I also don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So you let me know. I'll come on and surrender.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
I will talk. I make no promises about what she'll do.
So all we can do is just ask.
Yeah, both my mom is where to live. I lost my mom in 2003, and my brother that was living there lost him in 2004. So they're both gone. So it is what it is.
Yeah, sure. Okay, David. Well, thanks for coming in. Okay. And we'll, as soon as I get that polygraph scheduled, we'll contact him and we'll see what works out for you.
I'm pretty available except in January. I've got to go out of state on a court case over in Pineville where the National Guard arrested me.
Where, what week? Do you know? Because we're almost to January.
Yeah, it's be the middle of the month. Just the 15th through the 20th. Don't schedule anything then. Yeah. Any other time, I'll make myself available. If you just give me a date, I'll make it available.
We'll try to get it done sooner than later. It's like you said, it's holiday. Coming into the holiday season, people burn off their vacation and everything else by the end of the year. So we got to find out what his schedule is as well.
Okay.
All right.
Give me a list of questions. When you're ready to do the polygraph, give me a list of questions. I'll submit them to my attorney, get his approval on them, and then give them back, and we'll do it.
Sounds perfect.
All right, guys.
Thanks, David.